Hey, what's up, folks? Welcome back to On Texas Football. Welcome back to the Winning Drive, the prime time edition. I'm lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers, pleased to be joined by our own coach, former high school football coach at Belton Rattan, Brownwood, Belton Rattan. Also played college football at Abilene Christian. Coach there as well, was on the University of Texas staff for multiple head football coaches. These days, you can catch his work at ShipleyRanches.com. He's our own coach, Bob Shipley. What's going on, Coach? How you feeling?
All good, man. It's all good. How you been, Rod?
Doing good, Coach. Doing real well. We got a lot to get into on the show. Actually, I want to get your thoughts about a few of the topics that we have. The first topic, I think, for all Longhorn fans out there, really excited, is that the Marcus Spears Jr. commitment for Texas basketball. He was the number one player in the class of 2027, reclassified to the 2026 class, and his sister, Carrie Spears, actually was the number one volleyball recruit in 2025. She's already on the team there for the volleyball team, and so they're kind of making it a family affair. The Spears family. So congratulations to Texas basketball. We'll talk about that and dive into it. Also, the John Meredith story. A Texas football commit has been denied his eligibility waiver there with to play at North Crowley. So he's ruled, I believe, eligible to play at Euless Trilogy, another place, but not eligible to play at the school that he transferred to. So that's some drama. We can discuss that as well coming up. There's also the ESPN FPI was introduced, the Football Power Index for college football's 2026 season. That's another topic that we can dive into. Shout out to our friends over at Vaughn Lane. Shout out to our friends over at Prize Picks, and Zen AI will tell you more about our sponsors coming up later on in the show. But the show belongs to you. Just throw out your questions, comments, whatever you guys want to talk about. We'll try to address as many of those questions, comments as we can. Super chats always jump to the front of the line, and you can interrupt the show at any time. Just throw out a super chat. All right, let's start with the Marcus Spears Jr. commitment, because obviously Marcus Spears, former NFL player, he and his wife, Coach, who are she was, I believe, a WNBA player. The genetics are strong in that family. They have been able to develop and produce the number one basketball recruit or prospect for the 2027 class, but he reclassified to 2026, so I think that puts him like top 5 or something like that. But he is committed to Longhorns. But also Carrie Spears, who was in the 2025 class, was the top volleyball recruit in the 2025 class. Now, I imagine that's both of those parents are very proud. They should be. Coach, this is unique because not a lot of folks out there, I don't know what the percentage would be, but it's got to be a very small, minuscule percentage of parents who have been able to produce multiple high-level elite athletes. And both of these playing at the University of Texas. You also had to play at the University of Texas as well. I just got to ask, number one, how does it feel? Because I'm sure these parents are very proud. How does it feel when you get multiple kids who have been able to kind of live their dream to play high-level elite sports?
Yeah, well, I was happy for them. I wanted them to go where they, wanted to go with a little push, but it all worked out. It all worked out fine. You just pinch yourself all the time. Just blessed is what comes to mind. I say that a lot because I am a lot. But what an incredible family. I mean, in different sports, 2 different sports. Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy. No, it's like I said, it really is remarkable. When did you know? It's kind of when did you know that you'd have 2? Did you know when, I mean, like when was it early on, or was it later on once Jordan had, shown he's got that capability and that potential? Did you see it from Jackson after that? Did it come early for you?
That's a good question, because I never knew how big they were going to be.
Yeah, it's true. Good point.
But I knew Jordan was going to be special from the time he was a little kid, because he was so fast and so quick, cut on a dime.
Yeah.
And he competed at a very high level and demanded that of himself and everyone around him he could influence to do that, And so, Jackson saw that, and he, he fell in line, with that. But it's a blessing for sure, but it's it just worked out really great for my family, for them both to go to the University of Texas and us to kind of continue that. relationship our family has with the university.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously the Spears family seems to have a love for the university too, just like your family, and great genetics to produce multiple elite athletes that can play at the University of Texas. I don't know. The first person I thought, I was like, oh man, I wonder. Coach Shipley's got to be one of the very few. Like I said, I wish somebody would do the research. Few households in the country to have multiple high-level elite athletes be able to play D1 college sports. Antoine says, "Is there more Shipley wide receivers in the pipeline?" Yeah, what's up, Coach? What's up with them grandkids?
Yeah, I think there might be. None of them are even teenagers yet, so can't get the cart ahead of the horse on that. But I got some grandkids that really love it and work hard at it, so we'll see. I mean, it's just like, Marcus Spears and his sister. They weren't in there playing video games every night. They were out working.
Yeah.
And that's another thing it takes, obviously, is very, very, very great work habits, but also, you know how it is, Rod, it's a grind. You got to be mentally tough.
Yeah.
And to have a boy and a girl like they had is just amazing. Two different sports, great genetics, great family, sounds like, work ethic, competitiveness, all those great things.
Yeah, no, it is. It's fascinating. All right. For those who don't know, CJ will be joining us later on in the live stream. He's actually I believe, at his mom's birthday party. So happy birthday to Mama Vogel. Yeah. So CJ did say he's going to join us later, but he shouldn't have to. And if he does it, it's okay. All right. Hang out with Mama Vogel. Mama Vogel is way more important than this live stream here today. So we appreciate CJ, but we got it if he has gotten too busy, or if he got if he got too tipsy. I don't know, he might be celebrating with Mama Nice. He's of age. I don't know, he might really celebrate with Mama. But happy birthday to Mama Vogel. No question. All right. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Rocky P. Happy birthday to Mama Vogel. But congratulations. And, I think props are in order to Sean Miller. I think Texas basketball might have won the college basketball offseason. Now, I'm not Jerry Hamilton, so Jerry Hamilton is plugged in as he gets. He and Jeff Howe do a great job covering Texas basketball. We got a lot of guys here at OTF. CJ does a great job as well. So I'm not as plugged in as those guys, but I can't think of an offseason as good. You kept Matas, all right. You retained him. That was big, right? All conference caliber player for you. Then you picked up how many top 100 players? 4, maybe 5, depending on the ranking. Top 100 players. You got Punch, Isaiah Johnson, Elijah Freeman, Amari Evans, Lewis. You got all those in the transfer portal. And then you're talking about the high school class that you brought in. You got Austin Gooseby, who Longhorn fans are really excited. Another family connection. Man, somebody's got to do the research. And I keep saying somebody, and I guess it's got to be me. But it's a lot. That's a lot of. And I don't know if I have access to do it, honestly. Like, you need access to archives to do this kind of research. And like I said, the late great Bill Little was probably one of the last folks you can kind of just pick his brain about this kind of stuff. But legacies at Texas, siblings, father, son, I would love to you got to keep a database about this, because I think Texas is as strong as anybody when it comes to family legacies. I would put Texas family legacies, not like, who had the best, who had the greatest. I'm talking about the most. And I know that's strong a lot of places. But Texas family legacies are deep. It really is. I'm talking to one. But I feel like they're deeper than most. And obviously I'm on burnt orange glasses, so I'm inside the bubble. But I feel like they're deeper than most. Anyway, but Gooseby, Bo Ogden, come on. Like, I'm serious. It's deep, man. The family thing is deep. Coach Shipley is deep. Joe Sterling, and then of course now Marcus Spears, who reclassified, and that's your recruiting class, which I think now is a top 5 class. I believe your transfer portal class was a top 3 class. So this offseason, I don't know if there's somebody who had a better offseason for college basketball than Sean Miller.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I'm not a basketball guy, but even I know some of those names.
Yeah. So congrats to him. Sweet 16 in the first year. Now, he deserves it. There's going to be some championship expectations on Sean Miller in his second year, just considering what he's done to overhaul the roster and improve the roster. So that's a lot of momentum right now for Texas basketball. So shout out to them. Congratulations to Marcus Spears Jr. and the Spears family. But yeah, all I can think about right now is just the family legacies. I think, like I said, I'm going to talk to John Bianca and be like, hey, I need y'all to start putting them interns and people to work and like just go through the archives, go through the records and find out like how many legacies of siblings, father, son, everything. And even like you, coach, at work, you was a coach and he had 2 sons, but I want it all. I want a deep dive into it. It's worth it, I think. Anyway. All right, let's get to the super chats. While I'm running my mouth, super chats lining up. Thank you guys for the super chats. We appreciate it. Rocket Peace says, let's go. Can we get a woo to start the show? Woo! 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 I'll give you 3 of them. There you go. All right, there you go. Appreciate that, Rocket Peace. I love giving a woo. The Ric Flair woo will, if you're feeling down and you need to get your spirits up, you can throw one of those out there. You'd be surprised how it will change your attitude. I don't know why it works, but it does. Sure, Rocket P. Woo! Brandon Morgan, my man B Morgan, what's up, baby? Says, woo! Got to give another one. Sure, Rocket P. Got to give it up. Hell yeah, hook them. Yeah, man. Everybody excited about that commitment for Marcus Spears Jr. as well. They should be. That was big. And I will say, I'll give props. Just go look at my Twitter out there. I'll say Jerry Hamilton and the OTF fam knew about that a long time ago. All right. I won't give
so when's he going to be on campus?
That is a great question. Not exactly sure when they get him on campus, but he did reclassify for 2026. Yeah. So he was the number 1 player in the 2027 class, but he reclassified. So I think I imagine ASAP. Like I don't know the details of it. That's something that we definitely got to figure out. All right, Justin with the super chat here. Thank you, Justin. Says, Rod, did you check out Blake Gideon's play call at Georgia Tech and thoughts he potentially being shaped to be the next DC at Texas? Oh, wow. That's interesting. Yeah, because we'll see if Will Muschamp's got, first of all, the assumption will be Will Muschamp has success here. If he has success, that, Blake Gideon could be the next in line if Will Muschamp has success and also wants a head coaching gig somewhere. Now, hopefully isn't your assumption that he's the next DC in line if the fit hits the shan and things go off the rails. But he could be. At least you do have a plan, a contingency plan, if worst case scenario happens. I don't see that happening. So I'm assuming that you're talking about in the future after Muschamp has balled out here at Texas and done a great job, that he can move on. And yeah, Blake Gideon would be a nice young up-and-coming coach. I actually did some research and I have it here, but I don't want to start flipping through my papers right now, but I'll flip through them when we're doing some other stuff and I'll find my research on Blake Gideon and his play calling tendencies there at Georgia Tech, because I did some research on it actually maybe a couple of weeks ago. Because I think we talked about this. Maybe it was you, Justin, or maybe it was someone else, but I remember us having this conversation. So I did some research on his favorite coverages and his blitz tendencies and some of that stuff, and his ag kind of what I call them ag tendencies. I did some research on that, so I'll find it. I promise you, and I'll bring it up before the show's over. All right, just for you, Justin. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Coach, what do you think about that? Blake Gideon. DC later on. How long? Because he's a fast riser. I mean, he took a demotion to come back to Texas.
Yeah, but he's been with some good defensive coordinators, most of them with Texas ties, but great family. I've known his mother since high school. His father's obviously a great coach, great man. Blake is all about the University of Texas. I think that's why you leave a DC job to come back and take this and learn under one of the best that's ever done it. And I think, you can't, again, put the cart before the horse, but we got to see what this defense is going to do before we start replacing the guy who hadn't had a game under his belt at Texas in many years.
Justin says it was more if Will were to retire down the road. Okay.
Yes.
Because he has not, I don't know, I think someone did ask him about, does he want to be a head coach? And he didn't seem like he had any interest in it. But that's just gonna be right now. I mean, things change. Remember, he didn't want to initially be at Texas because he was thinking about family and some other things. He wanted to be at Georgia, and now he's changed his mind about that. So it just takes a few years, and your circumstances change, and you may decide to change your mind about that. So if let's just say he does stay here in Texas and retires, that'd be great because that means he's doing really well. I don't know if Blake Gideon will stay here that long. I don't know if you get Blake Gideon that long. I think he's that good where somebody is going to make him an offer he can't refuse. If he's not going to be a play calling DC here in Texas for that long.
Yeah, but why would you leave a job like Georgia Tech? Not a great job, but for somebody in Blake Gideon's shoes, it's a good job. To come back and be an assistant at Texas, if you didn't think that was going to get you in the best situation you could be in to reach your goals, and I'm assuming his goal at this point is probably to be the DC at the University of Texas.
I agree with that. I don't, but I think he might have to leave to come back to do it.
Well, he might. It all depends on the success. And if Will Muschamp rides off when his defense is on the high point, everybody's excited about it. Yeah, you want some continuity. If they're average, then it's not. You don't move a guy up to take over something that's been average.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
Agreed. No, it is interesting because he essentially he wanted to be at Texas. We know that because he essentially took a step back because he wanted to be at Texas. He's really smart. I know Blake Gideon. You talked about him. He's a really good guy. He's well known, well respected, and well liked in the coaching community. So if he wanted to just stay on the play calling track and then up to head coach, he could have easily done that. He made a decision for a reason to come to Texas, and the coach is right. I think it's because he wants to be at Texas when he gets to whatever that peak is of his career. Like I said, I do think if Will Muschamp is successful, which we all assume he's going to be successful. Why would you assume anything else? I think ultimately somebody comes to snatch up Blake Gideon because I think he's that good. I think somebody's gonna be like, man, I think he's gonna do a good job. And someone's like, hey, I want to know some of that secret sauce they're working with at Texas, and he's a big part of it. So I do.
It would have to be a really special job.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, Georgia Tech.
Nah. Yeah, I agree with that.
But for him to leave Texas now, it's going to have to be predominantly, top 25 team.
Oh yeah, I agree with that, Coach. Yeah. I agree with that. He's not going to shortchange himself. It had to be one of them jobs. It's a blue blood elite job that, like I said, you can't turn down if you're trying to not fast track, but if you're trying to stay on track to one day. I think he wants to be a head coach one day. All these guys most of them have those aspirations. CB says Gideon number 21 ranking, Rod, behind you. That's good. Because Niblett's there now. Y'all ain't even forgetting about Niblett. Niblett's there now. I have Blake Gideon really high because nobody started more games in the history of DBU than Blake Gideon. I mean, think about that. Let that sink in for a second. How many great players have been at DBU? The dude started a lot of games. Started as a true freshman, I believe, right? Wasn't he a true freshman when he started? Think about how hard that is at the University of Texas. And from what I understand, he was the air traffic controller back there in the secondary from day one. He was.
You know what he played on? You know what he played in high school? Quarterback.
I was gonna say everything.
Now,
yeah, that makes sense though.
I doubt the starting quarterback at Leander started on defense, but he might have. His dad was pretty hard-nosed coach.
He said that helped him. I talked to him about that. He was like, "Man, that helped me." He said, "Honestly, it helped me." Now people think Muschamp is hardcore. I was like, "Not really." I was like, "I dad." He was like, "Nah, not really." And then I was like, "Honestly, that's because his dad was a pretty hardcore coach, right?" Yeah. So Muschamp, he said it felt comfortable, almost felt right at home with Muschamp style. And I was like, it's because his pops is hardcore, like you said, Coach. All right, thank you for that one. How about this? Oh, we got a super chat here from E. Padilla. Thank you for the super chat. Says, Rock, can you provide thoughts on our cornerbacks? Do we have the athleticism and skill to go man-to-man on the outside? Are they ready for that? It feels like the most vulnerable part of our D. I love that question. We're going to come back and hit that. I want to hit our sponsors real quick because I love this. I'm going to go deep in this question, and I don't want to take up too much time and then hit our sponsor. So I'm hit the Ipadilla. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Love the question. Let's hit our sponsors, and then me and Coach gonna come back and we're gonna dive deep on it. All right, let's thank our friends over at Prize Picks first. We appreciate our friends over at Prize Picks, and you will as well. Listen, a lot of folks out there having fun, watching the World Cup. But it would be even more fun if you're picking with Prize Picks, right, and watching the World Cup. And you can do that. That's why I love Prize Picks. No matter what you're into, maybe it's the World Cup, or maybe it's WNBA, maybe it's esports, maybe it's baseball, whatever it is. With our friends over at Prize Picks, they make your sports viewing experience just that much better. And it's really easy. That's the best thing about it. That's why Prize Picks is so popular, because it's so easy, because it's so simple. You're picking more or less on player stats. That's about it. All right. And you can go with whatever you're comfortable with, or you can mix and match. Like I said, they got WNBA, World Cup. You got esports is available. I mean, baseball, whatever is going on. It's going on over there at Prize Picks. And you can build your lineup, submit your picks, and get it locked in. Really, really easy. And yes, Prize Picks also available in all 50 states, including right here in the great state of Texas. So download the app right now. Use the code HMA, play $5, and they'll give you $50 in lineups instantly. Just play 5, and they'll give you $50 in lineups instantly. You can't beat that. And as always, play smart, play responsibly, play Prize Picks. Thank you very much to our friends at Prize Picks. Let's also thank our friends over at Von Lane while we're thanking sponsors. We appreciate our friends at Von Lane. They do a great job, folks, of making sure they deliver a first-class travel experience on the ground. These days, travel can be stressful, whether you're flying those shorter routes in between major Texas cities or in the region in general. TSA, delayed flights, security checks, all right? It can always be a very stressful experience, and honestly, it can just wear you out. Driving also can be stressful, where you're dealing with traffic, and you're dealing with road rage, and you got to deal with the jet lag. When you get there, maybe it's a business meeting, you got the round trip to worry about. Our friends at Von Lane take all of that off your plate. You arrive at a private hotel terminal, you board in minutes. I've done it myself. Just minutes, all right? It's really easy. You sell into one of just 22 oversized leather seats. You enjoy complimentary Wi-Fi, beverages, and hot towel service on every trip. They have complimentary meals on certain departures as well. They've actually upgraded their internet. Now it's upgraded with Starlink, so now it's faster and more reliable. So the Wi-Fi is great if you want to work on those long trips, which I have. I've taken the Von Lane to Houston. I've taken it to Dallas. I've taken it to visit family. I've taken it on road trips. We actually powered our Texas tour with Von Lane with our friends over at Third and Longhorn. So now they're big fans of Von Lane, and you will be as well. They serve Austin, Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Plano, the Woodlands, Atlanta, Memphis, Nashville, and Knoxville. Visit vonlane.com. That's VONLANE.com. Use the code OTF26 at checkout. If it's your first time riding, you'll get $20 off your first ride with Von Lane. Von Lane, your private jet with wheels. All right. Oh, there he is. There he goes. What's up, TJ? How you doing, brother?
What's going on, guys? Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Tell Mama Vogel we all say happy birthday for sure.
I absolutely will. She's enjoying a margarita downstairs. So, look, I'm sure she's having the best day of her life, and we're about to make it even more fun later tonight. So,
all right, Ipadilla, don't worry. We're going to bring your super chat back. All right, we're going to bring it back, and we can discuss it because I want to get into the detail. But since CJ is on the show now, I want to get CJ's thoughts because CJ's going to be with us for a little while. He's celebrating Mama's B-Day. But I got to get his thoughts about the commitment of Marcus Spears Jr. For Texas basketball. The number one prospect in the 2027 class, reclassified to 2026. What are your thoughts? What does it mean?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, a hat tip to Jerry Hamilton. He and Jeff Howe filmed a video on the commitment back on June 17th. Today is July 9th, and not a single soul in the Texas market had any idea, and it took until the last couple of days for folks in the national market to catch on to what was going on with the reclassification and eventual commitment of Marcus Spears Jr. But you start looking ahead to this 2026-27 roster, and this is the most talented roster I've seen in my lifetime. I've been hyperbolic before about a lot of things, probably more so than I need to be, Coach. I think you would agree with that. I come out here at times saying a lot of crazy things, but you look at this roster, the way that it's constructed, and it was already going to be a top 10 unit going into the season without the commitment of Marcus Spears Jr. It was going to be one of the more talented teams Texas had seen in quite some time, probably one of the top 5 or 6 that Texas has seen since about 2010. Now, when you add the number 1 overall player and a guy that's going to be staying 2 years at the University of Texas, this roster is in the contention to be a top 3 to 5 in the entire country. Now, that doesn't mean anything. College basketball is a long season. We've seen one and dones in the tournament for teams with a ton of talent. But right now, you have to be very excited, very optimistic about what this basketball program can do this year and beyond when, again, you consider Marcus Spears Jr. will be on campus for 2 years, given you must be 19 years of age in the calendar year in which you are eligible for the NBA draft. So he won't be eligible till 2028. But, man, this is going to be a fun team.
It is. I mean, like you said, I know Jerry and OTF saw it coming, but nationally, who was the competition? Who were the other options here for Marcus Spears Jr.?
Of course, a lot of the blue bloods, right? Arizona made a good run here. Kansas, Duke, and of course LSU with Will Wade. And I mean, I'm not particularly a fan of the way that Will Wade's gone about constructing his lineup, but when you're LSU and you're working with a legacy here with Marcus Spears having played at LSU, it makes sense for the Bayou Bengals to be a part of this recruitment. But again, credit to Texas, and credit to Texas for being multifaceted and across all sports, because this probably doesn't happen if Marcus Spears' daughter doesn't end up at Texas playing volleyball. So, when we talk about why it's important to be a well-rounded, athletic department, winning Directors' Cups, becoming a very attractive school. When you have families like the Spears or whoever it might be with multiple kids playing multiple different sports, it's nice to become a joint package.
Special.
Yeah. I was just talking to Coach Shipley about that. Coach Shipley knows it well. I mean, that's and the Goose. There's another one on the roster, Gooseby.
Yeah.
Bo Ogden. There's like also in the family thing. It's the family connections run deep in Texas. It's a beautiful thing. All right, CJ. I want to ask you also because I don't know if you're going to stay on with us or not. So if you I don't expect you to stay on with us long, but I want to ask you a couple of things about the basketball commitment for the Longhorns. What does this put that, because he's reclassified for 2026, so where's that class at now? What's the ranking of that 2026 class?
Yeah, I believe the last rankings were the number 4 portal class with what Texas brought out of the portal, and then in the 26 class alone, it's number 2. Joe Sterling. You look at Ogden, Austin Gooseby, who I got to run into a little bit yesterday at Trevor Gooseby's youth camp up there at Hyde Park High. Look, a lot of talent, and it's going to be really interesting how this roster kind of plays out, because you probably have 7 or 8 potential starters. How do you configure that starting 5 while also making sure that you have the buy-in from your 6th, 7th, and 8th guys, right? In a way, you have to be selfless. If you're a 5-star freshman coming in, the expectation is you are going to start. Well, if you're the number 1 player in the country, but you reclassify, you probably still are talented enough to start. But if you don't, and these guys all have 7 months on you when it comes to learning system, playing together, are you selfless enough to go play in your role at the time? So, that's going to be really interesting. But all the way through, you have to be really excited with the young talent coming in. And Bo Ogden, again, is another guy who, in another year, probably starts for Texas right away as a true freshman.
Wow. Are people predicting what the starting lineup is going to be already? Is that already kind of known that who's going to start?
Yeah, there's certainly some really, really solid guesses out there. Off the top of my head, Isaiah Johnson at the point. You'll probably have Gooseby as your number 2. Elijah Freeman, David Punch. Thank you very much, Matthew, for the graphic here. And Matas Volkatitis coming back again. And here's the impressive thing for me. And then that as if this roster alone wasn't impressive by itself. The investment from Texas athletics, from the Texas boosters, the folks that ultimately go out there and find or rally the money together to construct a roster like this. Sean Miller pitched to Chris Del Conte, the Texas athletic department higher-ups, and then a bunch of big money boosters, and said, here's the vision, right? With a bunch of guys that I did not recruit, with a bunch of guys that were kind of left over, we made a run in the Sweet 16, winning 3 games. Mm-hmm. Now imagine if We fully bought in. And imagine if we were in the upper echelon of NIL money in the SEC. Imagine what we could do then. And I think that run played a large factor in the way that Texas has been able to construct a roster as talented as this one. But Sean Miller pitching again, the future, the vision of what he hopes to build in Austin. And this is a guy that walked into Texas saying, I know football will always be king, but just give me a little bit of rope and you'll see what I can pull. And he's done a hell of a job so far.
Yeah, that's right. He's got the BMDs, the big money donors and boosters. He's got them excited, no doubt. Proof of concept that run to 2016. All right, but one other thing I want to ask you about, because I want to get coaches' thoughts on this too. It's a big story today. Obviously, Marcus Spears Jr. committing Texas basketball, but the John Meredith denial, if you will, by the UIL State Executive Committee. They declared that John Meredith was ineligible for varsity athletics at North Crowley on a 3-2 vote. He is eligible at his old place, the place Euless Trinity that he was competing at before he transferred to North Crowley, but they did rule him ineligible. This is crazy. I didn't even know this, and shout out to my man, because I didn't. Marcus Myers, I guess, was either covering it or watching it. I'm not sure how, but
he's locked in.
He walked in. So shout out to my man Marcus Myers, man. That's great, because I did not know that his mom actually got remarried, and now the stepdad lives in that neighborhood. To me, I was like, oh, that's a no-brainer. That should be it then. If that don't seal the deal that, oh, it wasn't just for athletic reasons, then nothing will. And apparently that did not seal the deal. So I have no idea how the UIL State Executive Committee, and Coach, you probably know more about this than any of us. I don't know how they could declare this young man eligible when he actually does have a family connection to that area. I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts about this, Coach?
Yeah, it's a gray area. So many people have played the system to their advantage to use it, and I think the UIL is like, you know what, we have to stop this. Probably one of the biggest complaints they have from head football coaches or just head coaches of the state is how they allow a guy to transfer who, in their mind, transferred for athletic reasons. Mm-hmm. And it's. I think they're trying to get their teeth back, and from just reading this, from what Marcus posted, it certainly sounds legitimate. But I don't know. Maybe they knew. Marcus said they didn't have a shred of evidence, so I don't know.
He's a man of integrity. I trust my man Marcus Myers. He's not.
I did too. It is interesting in this. It was John Meredith who went first in his case with the UIL, and then Colton Nussmeier, the brother of Garrett, the former LSU quarterback who was drafted this past offseason. He had moved from Flower Mound Marcus to Denton Ryan. His vote was denied as well. His appeal was denied, but his vote was 4-1 against the appeal. So for whatever facts that John Meredith and his team put together, they did sway one more vote than what Nussmeier was able to put together. Again, not enough to be deemed eligible. But Coach, I also wanted to ask you on this case, because I know recruiting happens at the high school level, right? Absolutely. It used to be a dirty secret. Now everybody everywhere does it, right? In a way, it keeps your job. You get better players. They go off to the NFL. They go to college. You become an attractive school for more talent to move into younger. Right. And then you start winning, you get bonuses, you get raises, you get higher jobs, when you get elevated and promoted. But I wanted to ask you this as a coach, and you don't have to go into specifics, but when it comes to a player that you coached or that was on your team or in your program that leaves, is it spiteful? Folks sit here and say, why would anybody ever play for Euless Trinity if you leave and the coach turns your back? What can you kind of explain why some of these transfers might be, denied, or a coach might protest that kid leaving their school district to go play elsewhere?
Yeah, nobody wants to lose a good player. One that's going to make a difference in your team, and which will make a difference in your season, which will help you as a coach. Let's just face the facts. Great players make great coaches out of us all. But it's it's a strange situation, but there's so much of it going on that, like I said, I don't know enough about this case to speak on it, but yeah, it's an interesting thing. And, you don't, as Euless Trinity, I would think want to take him back, because if you didn't, he would have nowhere to play.
Right.
It's what the UIL says is everybody's eligible somewhere. That's their motto when they go into these. Everybody's eligible somewhere. May not be where you want to be eligible, but that's where you're eligible. So,
and speaking of being eligible somewhere, right now, word that I've received, this was before going back about a month when we knew that a case was coming for John Meredith, and today, excuse me, it does sound like IMG Academy is going to be atop of the list of options for him. There's a couple. Go back to Euless Trinity. I don't see that being possible at the moment. Additionally, there was the private school. You go play TAPS. He could be eligible right away in the private school sector. Additionally, look, you could kind of just take a year off and go train. And he's been training with Coach Flight over there in the DFW area for quite some time. But I think we'd all agree, getting game reps against good competition is probably more beneficial than cones or bags or whatever drills you could possibly do in the offseason. So right now, I think IMG Academy, with their coaching staff, their development, and competition, I think is the biggest piece of this. Grow as a competitor beyond anything else, because nothing will get easier in his football career the more that he can go. If he goes into Texas, there will be competition. If he goes to the NFL, darn well there's going to be competition. So I hope that ends up being the route for John, and I don't think, for those wondering, this impacts anything to do with his commitment or pledge to Texas.
Yeah, no, I agree. Go play somewhere. Go play. And I know if you don't want, I agree. Some people said, no way would you go play for Euless Trinity. Yeah, don't do that. But yeah, I agree. IMG, whatever it is, go compete, go cultivate your craft. I trust me as somebody who lost time in the NFL because of injuries. Losing time in football is brutal, because it's just, it's such a unique sport. There's no way for you to recreate it in the off season. You need those reps are so valuable. There's just no way for you to be able to do that. So I'm glad he's going, at least the word is he's going to go compete somewhere. Yeah. And by the way, and I know this is about politics, but when I was coming up, I mean, they were recruiting in Houston too. I mean, I don't know how deep it was, but they have and I'm sure it's the same thing. They have magnet programs in Houston, and that's how they recruit. So like Houston Lamar was a business magnet, probably still is. So I got to go interview at Houston Lamar, whatever their interview, to get into the school. And I had to come up with like a business plan. I remember this. I had to come up with a business plan and all this kind of stuff. It was weird, but you had to interview. And I remember different schools. I went to like a fine art school, and you had to like do like a piece from a play. I think at one time I did like Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream." Like it was all through, but it was basically the football coach would set that up, and you'd have to go in there. And I don't know if I don't know if it was already fixed that I was going to get in, or if I actually had to do it. But that was the method to help. Like, I lived in the south side of Houston. I was supposed to go to Sterling High School, but I went in through like a magnet. And as a magnet, I mean, I was still talking to the football program. They literally would recruit Pershing Middle School, which is Pershing Pandas.
Yeah.
And connection from Pershing to Lamar. And so the coaches knew the coaches, and it worked out where they got, like, me, Jerome Sapp went to Notre Dame. He went to Pershing. Like, a lot of the guys, I played with most of the guys, they went to Pershing with me at Pershing, and then they went to Lamar. So it was one of those weird things where, yeah, kind of strange like that.
Yeah, it is.
Recruiting's been happening for a long time. I just think now, maybe like Coach said, now it's out of control, when it used to just be, at least they tried to respect the rules. Like, I had to go interview back then. I had to go interview to get into the school, and then be in the magnet program. And I was in the magnet program until I left Houston Lamar. Maybe now there's like, we don't give a damn. To hell with the rules. So I'm not sure.
It's funny now. I hear from coaches all the time that sit there and say, when you have to coach JV on Thursday nights, you always kind of look around, or you have to coach the middle school on Tuesdays, I believe is what it is. You always kind of look around in the stand and you say, okay, are there any coaches that shouldn't be here? And when you see a coach that probably shouldn't be there, you kind of get your guards on. You're like, all right, why is he here? Who does he know? Who's he watching tonight? He can't be watching any of my guys because
Yep.
that's how early it starts is middle school.
Yep.
It's unique.
Yeah. Like I said, and maybe now it's because it's more big business, but like I said, it's been going on forever. Rod B got recruited kind of like that to Houston Lamar. Proud of it, happy for it, by the way.
Hey, it worked out.
It worked out great. Mom was all about it. She's like, yeah. All right. Okay. CJ, thank you for the time, man. Go enjoy birthday with Mama Vogel and tell her the whole OTF fam says happy birthday and we appreciate her.
I appreciate it. Her gift from me was a big old bottle of tequila rose. So we'll see how long that lasts, but we're going to go have a fun birthday celebration. So everybody in the chat, I'll make sure to say that the OTF chatters today said happy birthday, that y'all did as well. And I appreciate all of the kind messages for her. Her favorite thing every night is tuning in at 7:00 to see me blabber away. So guys, thank you very much.
She's proud, brother. She's proud. That's what that is. Thanks, CJ. Appreciate you, man.
All righty, guys. Y'all have a good one. Welcome
to you. All right. Man, CJ Vogel. All right. Great stuff. Okay. Let's get back to the super chats. EPD, I've been thinking about you. I was roughing through papers. All right. Found some stuff for you. All right. Let's get back to that super chat from EPD. Rod, can you provide thoughts on our cornerbacks? Do we have the athleticism and skill to go man to man on the outside? Or are they ready for that? It feels like the most vulnerable part of our D. They asked Will Muschamp this, and I paid attention to his answer. And his answer, essentially, I'm paraphrasing, was like, "Are y'all ready to start playing a lot more man-to-man?" And he was like, "I think we are. I think the reason I think because he wants to see training camp with the full, like all the cornerbacks and all the wide receivers, more importantly, because you got a top 3 to 5 wide receiver room in the country. The beauty of this is, Coach, they don't know if they can play man-to-man against elite teams. You know. Because if you getting lit up in practice with Ryan Wingo and Cam Coleman and Jermaine Bishop and Emmett Mosley, then I think they may decide, yeah, we may not play as much man-to-man as we thought. We may have to wait on that or wait till we get better at it during the season. So I do think he wants to play more man-to-man. I feel like Will Muschamp wants to play more man-to-man. And I'm not saying overall, like Texas last year was 28% man-to-man coverage. That was an improvement. That was an increase, I should say, over 2024 when they were close to a little under 17% man coverage rate. So I do think Sark went to PK and challenged him. Hey, I want to be a more aggressive man-to-man team. And the thing is about man-to-man coverage, nobody's playing predominantly man-to-man. I mean, Notre Dame plays a lot of man-to-man. There's nobody that's playing like over 50% man-to-man. Like what they're doing is situationally. Like I went and looked up third down, and I basically found that every team in the Big Ten and every team in the SEC increased their man rates on third down. Like everybody. And in the red zone, it's like 80% of teams increase their man rate in the red zone. So in the money times, everybody wants to play a little bit more man-to-man, play sticky coverage. So I think Texas definitely wants to be that team. Third down, red zone, money. They want to play man-to-man. I think they want to play some press man, that's why. And I think the athletes they're recruiting, John Meredith being one of them, and I think Cade Phillips being another. I think they indicate to me, oh, you guys want to play a little bit more press man. Why would you recruit athletes like that and waste that frame, that wingspan, that arm length, and not go play aggressive press man when we need to? So there are a lot of hints that Texas wants to play more man-to-man. They did it. There was an increase last year in man-to-man. It was the highest rate of man coverage since Sark has been on campus last season. Remember, they brought in Coach Aquina. Coach Aquina is a specialist in teaching man coverage. Even at Arizona had one of the highest man rates in the country from him coming from Arizona. I think that was Nansen and Coach Aquino when they were there playing a lot more man-to-man. When Nansen was the DC, they were playing a lot more single high coverages and man coverage. Mark Orfe, when they were at Rutgers had one of the highest rates of man-to-man, top 20 man rates in the country. Played a lot of press man as well. You get a guy like Bo Masco from that system, plays a lot of man, plays a lot of press man, and you keep Orfe around when you already made overhaul, kind of changes on defense. You kept him around because I think they want somebody that still can teach man to man. So to me, it's a lot of indicators that they're going to play more man. But like I said, situationally, red zone, third down, I think they want to go press man. I remember looking at the spring game, right? Spring showcase. I looked at the spring showcase and looked at how often Texas was playing man and press man, their press man rate in that spring showcase would have been one of the highest in the country. I was just looking at the rate and comparing it to press man rates around the country. In the spring showcase, they were pressing a ton. It would have been one of the highest press rates in the country. It would have been, that press rate would have been over 60% press rate. They weren't doing anything like that with PK. Now, why they show that to us in the showcase, I have no idea. Do I think they're going to do that during the season? Probably not. I had them at over 50% man coverage rate in the spring showcase. So the spring showcase, what it showed me, at least the hints, the clues, they're going to play a little bit more man. So everything that I've been able to kind of extrapolate, Coach, is that I do think they want to play more man. Nick Saban said the greatest coverage in football is man-to-man coverage. It's cover one. Problem is, you got to have some dogs to do it. You got to have some freak athletes and dogs to do it. That goes back to the John Meredith, the Cade Phillips of the world, those kind of guys.
Yeah, that's a good super chat. But it also kind of leads me to something we talked about maybe Monday night, Rod, and that is, or maybe last week, that is how are our safeties going to play? And I would think early, if we're going to be doing a lot of, bump and run, man, you better have some help over the top until these guys learn, how to get their legs under them and how to, use the best technique in the game, because they're going to go get some great wide receiver units this year.
Yep. I agree. So I think when he knows, Coach, by the end of training camp, Muschamp will be clear on how much man and how much press man they want to play. All right, because you got Ohio State early. By the way, Texas State got 2,000-yard receivers. Brad Jackson, hey, they not no joke now. All right, G.J. Kinney going to have them ready to go, and they're going to take some shots early. I would if I was G.J. Kinney. Why wouldn't you? I'm going to take a couple of shots, especially if you're going to you're playing aggressive man. I'm going to take a couple of shots. Yeah.
Well, we've certainly got the guys to pressure the quarterback up front.
Yep.
Whether that comes to fruition or not, and how aggressive the defensive play calling is, we won't know that yet. But sometimes you don't pressure because you don't have any real pressure threats. There's not a lot of Colin Simmons out there. People that have a unique skill of pass rushing, and that just enables you to roll the dice. You're going to have to play some man and hope you disrupt the quarterback early enough that he can't get the ball out.
Yeah, and I think that overall, Will Muschamp will be more aggressive. PK got results too. I mean, Texas is one of the most disruptive teams in the country, led the SEC in takeaways. But I think when Sark talks about complementary football, I think Sark wants to be an aggressive offense, and I think he wants to pair it with an aggressive defense. And PK was just not aggressive. PK didn't. That's not really how he wanted to operate. And I went back and looked at his time in Washington, and there were times where he played more man, but it was also when they had like Trent McDuffie. They had like 3 NFL players in the backfield. It's like, well, yeah, if you got 3 NFL guys back there, go ahead, play more man to man. So when he had true, like legit NFL DBs in the backfield, he did play more man to man. But we didn't see that at Texas until last year. And to me, you could have done that in 2024 because you had a hell of a backfield in 2024 to do that. So I do think it was Sark that compelled him to like, hey, I want to play more man. So I think that will increase with Muschamp. All right, that's my random theory on it. It's just a theory. All right, super chat from Brandon. What's up, Brandon? B. Morgan, what's up, baby? OTF fam number 1 says, Rod, you are the man. Hey, I appreciate that, Brandon. It says, you and Jerry are the encyclopedia I look and listen to. CJ, I can't wait to say, woo, happy birthday to mama. Hook 'em horns, Rod, I need them cards from my collection. Yes, I already got them sealed up. What happened? I got a storage.
What had happened is
what had happened was I had to go to storage. I had to get my stuff out of storage, like the cards. I mean, what do I need to have my trading cards around me for? So I did get them out, signed a couple, left a couple without signed, put them in an envelope, but they have not been put in the mail yet. That will happen though. It's going to happen soon. They have not, but I had to go to storage. Literally today was when it got sealed up. And signed. So I got you, B-More. I was thinking about you, bro. All right. Had to get them out of storage. I asked why. I was like, where my trading cards at? She's like, oh, they in storage. I'm like, why my trading cards in storage? my trading card should be closed in case, you know what I mean, something happened. What's one of my claims to fame. I got this is how come my claims to lame, coach. I have like I have 3 different trading cards, like NFL trading cards. I have one with the Giants. I mean, I'm like bump and run. Looks kind of cool. It's kind of clean. And I'm dressed. I'm clean. And I got one with the Lions. I look a little overweight with that one. I don't like the way I look a little chunky on that one. And it's cool. It's cool. But then I have one where I'm not even on the card. It was a mistaken identity. They say it's me and Bracy Walker, and it's not Rod. Anybody who knows Rod B, that's not Rod B. I think it's Brock Marion, actually. I'm not even sure who it is. But it's not Rod B. That's the one that's clean. That's a clean one. I look cool in that one. I look like I'm gonna be a baller in that one. I hope I didn't get beat, but that's a clean one. And this is not a bad technique. My arm should be up. My arm, why my arms to the side? First thing I say, damn, they caught me with bad technique. Arms to the side. Oh man, get your arms up. Come on, you're in the fight. And I got one with the last, but then there was one with me and Bracy Walker. Except it says Roger Babers, but it's not Roger Babers. It's another guy. That's how bad my NFL career was. I guess that they can't even get. That's one of my 3 trading cards is another. It's a mistaken identity card, which I think makes it more valuable. I think the mistakes make it more valuable. Anyway, all right. Rocky P, thank you for the super chat. Says every defense has a weakness. What is must champs? We are 8 Thursdays away from Texas State week. Oh, that's good. What's the weakness on Muschamp's defense? Schematically, we don't know because he hasn't really, at least he hasn't been given credit for calling plays. I probably think he probably called some plays there at Georgia somewhere in there, but he hasn't necessarily been given credit for calling plays since prior to his time there at Georgia. So schematically, coach, I don't know if you know what the weaknesses of the scheme are. Personnel is a different conversation, but scheme, I don't know if you know.
Yeah, man, I don't know what our defense is going to be weakness wise. Of course, none of us will know for sure until the season gets out and see how the scheme matches up with our personnel. But I don't know. If I had to say a Muschamp's weakness, I just don't. I mean, I know he has some, but I don't know what it would be. Patience, maybe. I don't know.
No, that might be. Honestly, I know you're laughing. That's one of Sark's weaknesses. One of Sark's weaknesses, he's not very patient. People know that. He wants a big play. Like remember, that's how Kalen DeBoer beat him. It's like, you're not going to want to marshal into the field, hand it off, getting quick gains, 3, 4, 5 years of pop. Y'all know at one point Sark going to get greedy. He always does. He's going to take a shot. He's going to want to go down the field. And if you can defend that, and then get them into the 3rd long, 2nd long, whatever it is, and you got a better shot. Makes it predictable. So that's not. I mean, I'm not saying that is much, I think, but I know that is a thing. Where that guys they're impatient, and maybe you take too many chances when you're impatient. But I would say right now it's going to be your safety position. You just don't know. Like who? Yeah. If I'm attacking Texas, I'm going after that safety, and I'm gonna try to see if I can run the ball on your undersized linebackers. Yeah, I want to see if I can do that. And Stevie Lee tells me to attack the interior D tackles, the interior D line. He said he thinks that group is vulnerable. I think the best thing Muschamp's got going from early is the mystery. You don't know what his scheme's going to be. You don't know how he's going to utilize the personnel. You got no film. If you're Ohio State, you you got is Texas State. And I think the first 3-4 weeks of the season is going to be really good for the Muschamp scheme because the unpredictability. You're not going to know how to attack it. Now, middle of the season, you get to Florida, Oklahoma, and they got 4 or 5 games, coach, a sample size, then it's something different. But when you got no sample size, I think actually it's an advantage for Muschamp.
Yeah, I do too. I think it'll be very plain Jane the first game, although as you said, they've got a couple of good receivers on their team. So, you're going to have to, you don't want to make the game close.
Yeah. And with the safety thing, I was actually thinking about that. You're going to play 6 of the top 25 teams in play action RPO rate from 2025, 2 in the top 10. safeties, eyes. That means a lot of moving pieces. I think that's how teams are going to try to attack Tech Story. See if they got discipline back there with their new guys. All right. Thank you for that. All right. Oh, there it is. I knew Matthew was going to find it. Yeah. Who is that guy? That's not me. I think that's Brock Marion. Isn't it? I don't know who that is. I have no idea who that is. Like, I have no idea. That's Bracy Walker right there. I know I play with Bracy. Bracy, good people. I have no idea who that guy is. I think that ain't me. That's all I know. Let's thank our sponsor, Zen AI, before we close things down here. We appreciate them, and you will as well. This is a great new service, guys. I got to tell you, I'm actually fascinated by it. This summer, don't just watch the game. You want to vibe cast it with our friends over at Zen AI. Zen AI is the home of vibe casting, a new way to capture and share real sports conversations. No studio, no fancy gear. Your phone is the whole setup. Arguing about who should have taken the last shot, breaking down every play. Just hit record, talk it out, and Zen AI turns that convo into a sports cast you can share as clips, reels, even TikToks. There's an AI producer that's going to work behind the scenes, cleaning up the audio for you, cutting up the highlights, helping you tweak edits just by chatting in plain English. Go live while the game is on, or you can record your hot takes after, bring your own co-host, or find another fan in Zen AI's network. This summer, Zen AI will be paying new Vibecasters to launch their first sportscast. Humans are the talent, AI is the infrastructure. Zen AI is invite only, so head to zen.ai to join the wait list. That's zen.ai, or tap the link in our show notes. Thank you very much to our friends over at Zen AI. Rocky P said, let's go. Can we? That's a whole super chat. I appreciate it. Hey, Rocky P, appreciate the super chat from a long time ago. All right. Thank you guys for all of the questions and the comments, the super chats. We appreciate it. Thank you to CJ for joining us even on Mama's B-Day. Happy birthday to Mama Vogel as well. Thanks to Matthew behind the scenes. Nobody does it better. He's the real MVP. If we missed any of your questions, please direct him to the gentleman at Coffee and Football bright and early tomorrow morning. That'll be the estimable Jerry Hamilton, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Bobby Burton. That'll be bright and early at 8:15, and we'll have your 3:15 live stream on Friday as well. That'll be myself. I believe Jerry's going to be in there, but if it's not Jerry, it'll be one of the other all-stars from the OTF fam. Thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thanks to our sponsors as well. Thank you to Prize Picks. Thank you to Von Lane, Zen AI, and thank you, Coach. Great stuff as always, man. Great stories, great wisdom, great levity. Thanks to CJ and thanks to Matthew. For CJ, Matthew, and Coach, I'm Lifetime Longhorn Ride Babies. Until next time, look 'em horns.